Whether you've applied for many jobs or just a few, the interview is often the greatest hurdle between you and your next opportunity. You've heard tips like practice responses to questions they might ask, refresh your programming knowledge, and do your research about the company where you're hoping to interview. These are great things to remember, but what are employers truly looking for in candidates, and what practical steps can you take to succeed the next time you land an interview?
Really the main thing is know your company, know where you're going to interview. If they are a retailer like we are, make sure you've been in a store, make sure you understand that store, and make sure you have an idea of some of the challenges that are facing them. There's so many online resources about the challenges that companies are facing. You can bring up a couple keywords and the company knows that you've done your research.
In today's age, technical people, we have to go out and we have to present information to others. So one of the key components is how are they communicating? How are they telling their technical story in a way that can, transcend, technical people? Are they able to build a quick relationship? And of course, most critical piece is, are they able to show that they have the technical skill set that we're hiring for? Because sometimes we lose the personal side, the people side when we're talking technology, but it's very important to also have that personal side of it as well.
The overall assessment isn't always about did they answer this question right, did they answer that question right, because it's not always a black and white scenario. More importantly, we're kind of looking at how did they approach the question, how do they approach the overall answer to it.
Having work samples is a very important thing for us. We want to see your code. Being able to produce work samples either through supplemental materials or passing and doing well on a technical test is probably the most important thing that we look for. But if you're short in one area, you can overcome it in the soft skills. I think communication, being able to interact effectively with peers and your manager, and then the technical skill set are all equally as important.
Yes, we usually mix general interviewing and technical interviewing together, no matter the setting. So if we're at a career fair, we'll probably ask you a few general questions about your studies, about your experience, but we want to see your technical chops as well. So we don't really separate the two. Same if you come to our office. We don't invite you to the office unless you have shared code samples with us. So I think we've talked a little bit about GitHub and just having work to show. You're probably not going to have an interview with Mailchimp unless we've already had a chance to review your code. And then the interview is, a mixture of how you work with others and how you solve problems.
Social interviews probably aren't also technical, but technical interviews are almost always also social. It's important that when you're doing a technical interview to still be social. Be yourself, but don't be dry. Have enthusiasm. When you're solving the problem, talk. Don't keep everything in your head. Smile. Even if you don't know the answer right away, still smile.
The best interview preparation that I've seen is strictly to always say what's on your mind. So I always think about it from the interviewer's perspective. And when they're, say, doing a phone interview or an interview in person, it's really difficult for them to see, what is the interviewee thinking? But when you're talking constantly about what you're thinking and you're, say, walking them through the process of your mind, that really opens up, okay, they think creatively, okay, I know how they think and therefore we should hire them, as opposed to someone who stays quiet and just gives the answer. Because there's a huge difference there, and it's the fact that you are open to discuss an idea and discuss it with them, as opposed to simply, I know how to solve this, I'm smart. And so I see a lot of cases where candidates who are smart get rejected because they simply don't have the ability to communicate their ideas, which is, I think, much more valuable in industry.
What I do love about our technical interviews is we're not expecting the right answer. We're just expecting a great approach to problem solving. So if you're going in the wrong direction, our devs usually will stop you and say, okay, here's where you're going wrong. Let's rewind and think it through. So it's definitely a collaborative problem solving, but we want to see that you can participate.
Because again, we're looking for individuals with a great skill set, a great ability to want to work in a team environment, but are also passionate not only about the skills that they bring to the table, but the company that they're looking to join.
Just know that the other person across from the table or across from the room from you is totally human, just as you, and they feel and they want to get you in the position that they're, ultimately looking to fulfill. But not being afraid to be honest, being confident that you can do whatever it is that is set before you.
Every interview is different and there are countless ways to prepare. The more comfortable you become having conversations about your knowledge, experience, and skills, the better your outcome will be. Remember, interviewers are drawn to candidates who are genuine, enthusiastic, and curious, so share your thoughts and ask questions. Most of all, be yourself. You are the expert on you.